Welcome to the Buddha the Basin podcast. Today's episode is titled Tarot, the Flower of Life and the Secret of 777. And no, we're not going to be talking about Aleister Crowley and the 777. No. Thanks to Drunvalo Melchizedek, the Great White Brotherhood, and the Law of One. Again, this is Christian DeBlanc, 172438 Substack. If you want to follow me and you want to find the document I'm looking at so you can look at some of these pictures and meditate along with me, that'd be great. So I'm looking at the flower of life. Okay, the flower of life is a symbol that represents the cycle of creation and is believed to contain the most basic patterns of the universe. It is a sacred geometry symbol that has roots in mathematics and is used in meditation, energy healing, and mysticism. Drunvalo Melchizedek's amazing work on this subject has opened many people's minds, and now we see Eastern and Western schools of mysticism coming together and centering on and in this divine form. Because you can see the 7 chakra centers in the flower of life. You see this, they can be arranged vertically. You can see the tree of life, the Kabbalistic tree of life in the flower of life. The flower of life itself might be called a master key to this reality. Da Vinci seemed to know about it. You could almost hear him saying, "And I know it well." Bon Iver. So God bless y'all if y'all know that song. So what is the flower of life? Okay, so the flower of life symbol is a 2-dimensional drawing containing 19 equally overlapping circles. The school of thought known as sacred geometry explains the deep meaning implied by this ancient symbol. Also, when you add the 2 outer rings, there are 21 circles in total, which go back to the 21st or the 21 cards in tarot. Okay, so I'm suggesting that when you can look on my Substack, you'll see there are 19 circles, but when you add 2 additional rings, an inner ring and an outer ring, you end up with 21, and that's how the image is typically shown with those 2 outer rings. So 21 total circles. Okay, and so I suggest that this does indeed relate to the cards of the tarot, and how that 21st card does suggest it's the world, fusion of male and female aspects, going back to what Plato had told us, that each of us has souls, was a perfect sphere that then was split into male and female. And that's how we end up with this idea of soulmates and the person that's the other half of you. So if you want to look for the flower of life beyond just in the sacred geometry world, if you want to understand its historical roots, it goes back to Egypt and Dendera. It was Abydos and Dendera is where you really see this on the wall. It's also where you find the light bulb in that same temple that you see the flower of life. You see that famous light bulb that has given the ancient aliens people so much joy over the years. So I don't think it's too much of a leap to suggest that the circle itself represents consciousness. And so I recall when they asked the individual Thomas Campbell, the physicist, about how his greater consciousness system, first started. How did this? Always a great question. How did something come from nothing? Well, and in this Flower of Life book, see, Drunvalo Melchizedek in around 92 or 93 put out these volume 1 and volume 2 of the Flower of Life. And he talked about how in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So Melchizedek suggests that the spirit in the void moves 6 directions at first. Okay, and we get the 6 days of creation in the Bible from this. So when it comes to the human body, we do start out as a sphere, the ovum, and then our first 4 cells form a tetrahedron, and then on to 2 interlocked tetrahedrons when they first divide. You see, this is really what Thomas Campbell is having a very difficult time answering, and he ended up, it was on Jeffrey Mishlov's Thinking Aloud podcast, is where he's spoken to Thomas Campbell, the physicist, has spoken to Jeffrey Michelov, the parapsychologist from Berkeley, several times. So you can, if you would YouTube it, you'll see several interviews. And I haven't even finished it. It's like 3 hours and 49 minutes. If I'm being honest with you, I haven't listened to all of it, but I was taken with Campbell's sort of inability to explain how his version of God, the greater consciousness system, is able to create something out of nothing, or create the universe. Isaac Luria had this idea of the Zimzum in his Lurianic Kabbalah, where God splits himself and draws himself in like he takes a breath. And then as he breathes out, he breathes the whole universe. And that's also what the Brahman, that's the version that I like best, that we're all the out breath of God. And at some point, we're all going to be drawn back in. But I digress. So we start out as a sphere, the ovum, and then our first 4 cells form a tetrahedron. And then we get the 2 interlocked tetrahedrons. So that's what I'm trying to say. That whether it's the photon or whether it's the cell, we seem to have these 2 interlocked tetrahedrons, or a star tetrahedron, or a cube at 8 cells. And Melchizedek suggests this sphere, this star tetrahedron, maybe within a sphere, our first 8 cells, this which he also refers to as the egg of life. This goes down near the perineum, where our first 8 cells are. This is his notion that the Hara line does also connect. That when you need to get the energy to come up from the earth to your perineum, and from there to this Dantian, because the Dantian is actually where you got your energetic form from the earth to make a body, but the first 8 cells are down there at the perineum. So anywho, from these 2 cubes or 8 cells, we get 16 cells, and we turn back into a sphere beginning at 32 cells. So 32, if you follow my work, is also this sacred number for the Masons, right? The 33 is the last one. There are 33 vertebrae in the human spine. And additionally, when you combine the dodecahedron and the icosahedron, or you nest them, you get this 32-sided macromolecule of water with this innermost 5-sided tetrahedron, which is the miracle water, if you will, the water that conducts not just electricity, but human consciousness and memory. Again, but I digress. If you look at the Flower of Life book, you'll see, and I can read a little bit to you because Mr. Campbell really did have a tough time. So I like Drunvalo's explanation. So he says when consciousness begins, our God, or the single, or the unified field, I'm not sure what we're calling it, Brahma. Anyway, spirit, the single eye, shoots a beam of consciousness into the void. It shoots this beam to the front, as in from the front of your head. You can imagine it like that, from your third eye. Then to the back, okay? Then to the left, then to the right, then straight up and down, okay? So realize that whatever distance you project out front, you project the same distance out back. Okay, also to the left, to the right, up and down. The consciousness beam projects the same distance in all 6 directions for any one individual, even though each one of us is different in how far we can project this beam, okay? But there is equality in all 6 directions. So spirit projects those beams outward in those 6 directions, defining space: north, south, east, west, up, and down. This might be why the American Indians and Native people all around the world find the 6 directions so important. Have you ever noticed that in their ceremonies, how important it is that they define the directions? It's also important in the Kabbalah and some of the meditations they do. Okay, so in the mystery schools, after they projected these 6 beams in the 6 directions, the next thing they do is connect the ends of these projections. This forms a diamond or square around them, okay? So the point is, it's good you have 6 rays initially, and that's the same as the 6 days of creation. Okay, so many thanks to Drunvalo Melchizedek. You can find the PDFs for the Flower of Life Part 1 and Part 2 on my Substack, or you can simply Google and you can find this, or you can find many videos of him giving extensive seminars at sort of LA, the Life Expo, I forget, Free Life or Open Life Expo in LA back in the day. So the first part of the flower life, the center point that your eye is drawn to, is a hexagonal formation based upon those 6 directional rays. But clearly you can generate all kind of sacred, beautiful, life-supporting, energy-conducting, crystalline, geometric forms from it. The important thing to remember is that the circles are the female aspect and the straight lines are the male aspect, with Metatron's cube being a nice synthesis of male and female. Indeed, Metatron's cube with its 13 circles represents death, transformation, and rebirth. Another 6 circles around them creates the form of the flower of life. Okay. So that's 19 circles. And that is interesting. And the Quran does discuss the number 19. And of course, 19 is a prime number. But there are 6 around the innermost 7. That's the initial the initial seed. Then additional 6 around the first 6. However, for us to close this shape, give it a boundedness and a groundedness, we need to add 2 additional circles, an inner circle and an outer circle. This is where we get the 21 circles, and that's what kind of completes the image or gives it closure. I guess makes it a bounded system or a bounded organism or a bounded universe even. Because that's what Drunvalo says. This is the symbol for our reality. All the Platonic solids can be derived from this shape. So making this symbol 3D instead of just 2D like I see it on the page really creates the law of one, or instantiates or just shows you the law of one. We can see that this shape is everything or contains everything in existence. That includes Metatron's cube, the Star David, the hexahedron or cube, the octahedron, the dodecahedron, the icosahedron. If you draw lines connecting these circles, you create these shapes. And that's really just from the Metatron's cube. That's just from those first 13 circles. So like I was saying, we also get the Genesis pattern with 6 rays and 6 days. On the 7th, he rested. And so I don't want to spill any more ink or any more breath on this. I want to begin to move from this to tarot. So moving from this to tarot, Ra in the Law of One states that, which is L&L research from Louisville, Kentucky. It's all free, and you could buy the books, but they have a wonderful search engine, L&L research, Law of One. It's freely available. Anywho, in the Law of One, Ra states that there are a total of 22 archetypes, which corresponds to the 22 cards in the major arcana, or arcanum of tarot, as well as the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet, which Ra says was given to us by Yahweh, who is Ea or Enki, I believe. But as I stated recently in the podcast titled Buddha Brought 528 Hertz and the Undiscovered Self, we have 7 archetypes for the journey of understanding and harmonizing the mind. Those are the first 7. The journey officially kicks off with the Fool when you decide, when you just wake up that there's something greater, okay? Which could be a psychedelic experience, as it was for me. Oh, there's something, I popped out of my body for a second, and I realized, oh, there's a greater reality, that the mind is essentially separate from the body. It's within the body, but it can also separate itself from the body. And then later on ecstasy, there was a greater spiritual experience where I recognized this light and love was ubiquitous, and that people really were like angelic, beautiful beings who weren't aware of that. They did not feel it. They didn't see how beautiful they were or understand it. Okay. And it's been my journey as well to understand it. And it's been quite a difficult journey going from these peak psychedelic experiences to understanding that you have to really put this into principled practice in your day-to-day life. It's not just a party here on the earth. It's indeed a struggle. It's a school, and it's a difficult school, but we have been given guidance through the tarot system. Okay, so in the tarot, we have 7 archetypes for the journey of understanding and harmonizing the mind. Now, it begins with the magician. The magician is card number 1. It represents what Ra calls the matrix of mind, or conscious awareness, the beginning point of creation and understanding. Okay, now I connect that with the left hemisphere and the male aspect of our consciousness, which is usually an externalizing force. The second card is the high priestess. This is the unconscious, or the potentiator, the reservoir of wisdom and intuition that lies beneath the surface. of conscious thought. Now I connect that with the female aspect or the right hemisphere, the witness aspect. Okay. Now, when these two converse, when there is communication, I'm just thinking of tool rediscover, when we can rediscover communication between the conscious and unconscious, we then move to the catalyst of the mind, the empress. Then we have a catalyst, we have an energetic reason to have a new thought or a new experience. So this is the spark. This is where the hidden knowledge from the unconscious becomes tangible, leading to growth. Now the empress is a wonderful, with red hair, wonderful, beautiful woman in a field of wheat. It's a harvest because we have something now to obtain, something to harvest from this. We now can learn something. And then the emperor is the experience of mind. So that's the actual processing logically of the information to get the gist of it. From there, the fifth card is the significator of mind, or the hierophant. Okay. That's when you can develop wisdom and act based upon, or speak based upon the wisdom you've obtained through the emperor phase. Okay. We have to seek out the deeper meaning of our experience. This is what leads to wisdom. We all have experiences, both positive and negative, but most of us don't realize they're all intended to inform us and to reduce entropy. None of it is random. All coincidences are incredibly meaningful. Every pain, every illness, every positive or negative experience is truly meant to be a map to lead us somewhere. The sixth card is the lovers, and the lovers represent the transformation of the mind, the choice between serving self or others. This signifies a crossroads where our conscious decisions shape the path of evolution. We have a final choice up there at the very end, the 22nd card. I really see that's what Google was saying. I really suggest that the wisdom transforms us so that our male and female aspects act as lovers and help us become renewed. Because in the beta brainwave, which is disharmonious, our left and right hemispheres are both processing. They're both competing, if you will. It's not a fun way to live your life. It's much better when the two hemispheres are in sync in a harmonic based upon the alpha brainwave or the theta brainwave. And that's when we can experience the two being in communication, whispering to each other like little lovers do, sharing a secret language like lovers do, our left and right hemispheres. That's how it's supposed to be. Once you've achieved this, then you get to the chariot, which is the great way of mind. That's also the Merkaba. It's able to give our mind freedom. You see, like I was saying, I popped right on out of my head. That's just the initial 7. There are 7 of the mind, 7 of the body, and 7 of the spirit. Because like I was saying in that previous podcast, our particular conscious experience is the most far out that the logos or any logos ever tried. We're unconscious. We don't know our past lives. We have this opposable thumb, and we have this hard illusion of physicality and materialism and separation that keeps us trapped and keeps us reincarnating. And really, we're just here to help harmonize stuff that happened in Orion and Lyra way before that. This galaxy is trying to move towards this law of one, of this harmony, and we're a vital aspect to that. So that's the mind. Once the mind is in place, then we can return to the body. So the next 7 cards lead us to gain an awareness of the body. So starting with strength, we move towards becoming an embodied wise being through the hermit archetype. That's the 9th card, who's holding up the lamp of enlightenment. But strength is the 8th card. It's the strength of the body. It's the strength that your body is able to convey that helps to subdue the wild beast, both inside of you and inside of anybody else. That's through the body. Strength is a physical thing. And the hermit is when that wisdom and strength is there and you're choosing to be a light for others, it's all going to start becoming echoed in your human energy field. Your body is also putting out this biophotonic web, this field with these with the sun tetrahedron going counterclockwise from your chest to your face, all around you, at least 3 to 4 feet around you, and then the lower tetrahedron, the earth tetrahedron, spinning clockwise around, which is not really as recognizable to others, but what can help you remain grounded and keep you circulating your energy. So once we've able to master this idea of having strength and then wisdom in the hermit, then the 10th archetype is the Wheel of Fortune. And as we seek wisdom and seek to share it with others, our fortune in life turns around. Oh, Fortuna. The goal of these archetypes, though, is to use the body to mirror strength and project wisdom through our human energy field, rather than some kind of ego projection. We're not, it's a real thing, the energy field. The 11th card is justice, and it corresponds to balance. Okay, this is where all desires must be balanced, where everything you seek out and desire, you must balance it so you can begin to resolve these desires and let go of them. That's what enlightenment is. It's having desires blown out because you've had them all satisfied, not because you've overcome them. It's just balance. All things are going to be balanced. You have to find balance to find enlightenment. It's simply a rule, and that's in your body too. Balance of the appetites. You have to eat something. The Buddha starved himself. He had to eat something. Okay. Well, and Jesus said you can't. The bridegroom is not going to fast on the wedding day. The 12th card is the hangman, and that corresponds to the surrender. We have to surrender to destiny. We have to surrender our will to the greater will, which really gave Schopenhauer fits. He knew you had to surrender it, but he didn't realize you were surrendering your will to your own higher self, to you from the future. It's not to Anu or some deity. It's to your own higher self and to the greater consciousness system, the oversoul, as Emerson would call it. So that's the hangman. And then when you've gone through that stage, when you stop trying to have the universe take that cup away, when you just drink the cup like Jesus did, then you can go through death, transformation, and rebirth as Jesus did on the cross of time and space. Because our bodies now have this spiritual DNA activation through this process. This DNA activation was always intended by our forefathers, the founders, the seeders from so many millennia ago. Okay, so it's happening now. The great harvest is now. It's all happening now. The last card, after you go through this death, transformation, and rebirth, the last card of the body sequence of the tarot archetypes is temperance. So let's look at this card a second. This figure is able to channel positive energy while remaining grounded. His crown chakra radiance is evident, and his wings indicate that he is ascended to a higher form. This is Jesus after the crucifixion and the Buddha after enlightenment. So our bodies are now able to handle the more intense radiation of fourth density, the higher vibration where all the protons are vibrating at a higher speed, and it closes the separation between them. They get closer, they spin faster, we share more information. Simple as that. And our bodies become more like light and less like physical matter. We begin to set more photons free and bring more positrons and electrons together into light, into polarity, polarized light. So the last 7 archetypes have to do with spirit. Okay, spirit requires a marriage of mind and body to facilitate. We're all in spirit. We all have a spirit within us, but we have to awaken to this spiritual reality. Spirit has properties like plasma. And I view spirit as Ra does, as a shuttle for our consciousness. Spirit may become our ultimate body if we become Merkabas, or light spirit bodies. Now, in fourth density, we're going to be able to telepathically receive and transmit information. We can do that now, as a matter of fact. And we see and we can feel the love of our one infinite creator existing through each of us. More than that, we can connect to Mother Earth and feel telepathically connected to all conscious life, both here and throughout the galaxy. So, that's going to be nice. That's where we are now once we get through this tribulation, this apocalypse, this revelation of who we really are and what we're really here to do. So to get to the spiritual reality that's always been our destiny, we have to go through cards 15 through 21. And the 15th card is the devil. Now, the devil is a false image of imprisonment. We feel trapped in the body, or trapped in a job, trapped in a cycle of addiction and abuse. But these are illusions. Both the body and the job are the blessings. Even the abusive cycle, unfortunately, is a blessing, because it's usually based upon prior life stuff that this life gives you the opportunity to resolve. You have to have an echoing of past life trauma with current life trauma, so it can be harmonized. You can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, so to speak. We can't harmonize these past lives issues in the afterlife. We have to come back, be reincarnated. We have to do it here and now. So we have to go through this devil card, because both our body, like I say, and the job, it's all a blessing. This universe is but divine play, and our solar system is based upon the farthest out consciousness experiment ever conceived. Though there were indeed Orion Wars and Draco reptilians invaded Lyra back in the day, and the Anunnaki did bad things as well as some good, overall, it is a wonderful ride and a beautiful life. Understanding this sets you free. However, card 16 is the Tower, where our ego illusions are destroyed. This is where left brain dominance has to go. Linguistics are wonderful, but telepathic communication is right brain dominant and heart centered. Remember, the left ventricle of the human heart creates that toroidal vortex, and this is holographically projected as the human energy field. This is what creates this flow, this upper rotating, this centripetal and centrifugal energies. The heart creates an electromagnetic field that's much bigger than the human brains and goes way past the body. This is the field. And of course, there are ions in this field, just like in the Earth's field and then in the sun's field. And science soon will get to this. The fact is, the ego / autobiographical self must surrender control and allow cerebral blood flow to move to the temporal parietal junction of the right hemisphere so that we can form a theory of mind based upon light, love, and wholeness rather than materialism and separation. So the materialism and separation is what the tower is throwing out. Okay, we're being thrown out of the false tower, out of the false ego's imprisonment. At this point, if we have been reoriented towards the light love of the creator, we are now the star, which is the 17th card. This card corresponds to the age of Aquarius. Like temperance, if we look at this card, there is some sharing of water, as we are taking the universal living water and sharing it with others. Like Jesus said, all who drink from this well of living water will never be thirsty again. Because at this point, you are a beam of radiance, a sun, if you will. See, and the radiance is not just light, it's waves, it's these sound waves that also harmonize and heal the DNA. Okay, it's light and sound that the DNA responds to. That's the 528 hertz right there. And so is this. So that's the harmonizing energy we begin to share with others. Okay. And so at this point, you are a beam of radiance, a sun, if you will. And that's what the 18th card in the tarot is. It's indeed the sun. It's a magnanimous, kingly energy that you emanate as a sun. It makes everybody feel good. Like, here comes the sun king. Here comes the sun. Now, the 19th card is the moon. This card depicts the effect of the moon on life as a metaphor for the mysterious effect of magnetism that is, well, effected by an evolved radiant being on lesser evolved beings. Our energy field, in other words, will have the effect of assisting other energy fields, other beings, in their evolution towards source consciousness. You know, they are drawn as the moon draws the tides. We draw other beings to us through that radiance, through that love light. So finally, the 20th card is rebirth or judgment. We have the effect of awakening other beings as Jesus was able to awaken the sleeping souls after his resurrection. Okay, that's the effect. This energy of what's coming right now from the photon belt through the sun into our planet is an awakening energy. And once we anchor to it, we then awaken others. That's what the star seeds came for. That's what the light workers came to do. Now, at this point, we're at the end. We're finally the 21st card, the 777, Blackjack. It's the world. You have become one with the great spiral of creation. You have been swallowed up by the one infinite creator, and now the four fixed signs of the zodiac smile upon you. You are the holographic center of creation and can now rest. Earth, air, water, and fire signs are all in harmony with you, and you have stabilized your human energy field so that the toroidal flow is harmonious and able to help others. At this point, all that is left is to choose. With this experiential knowledge or gnosis, you would be able to evolve to fourth density. It is much easier to do so by choosing to serve others. You only need to be 51% service to others to graduate to positive 4D. If you are trying to graduate to negative 4D like Genghis Khan, then you must be 95% service to self. It's actually hard to be that evil. It's much easier to serve others and seek truth. With that in mind, I'm eternally indebted to Ra and the Law of One Material, to Don Elkins and Carla Ruckart, um, as well as to Drunvalo Melchizedek's work on the flower of life. The Great White Brotherhood also plays a role, with Saint Germain leading the way. This Great White Brotherhood, like Drunvalo Melchizedek has stated, is indeed preparing us to enter the new age with both feet on the ground and our head in the stars. Now, lastly, if you begin to see series of triplets like 111, 222, 333, 444, all the way to 999, or if you're drawn to double digit numbers like 11, 22, 33, 44, 55, etc., all of these numbers are activation codes from your own higher self in the Great White Brotherhood. So if you see a 111, this starts a new journey, mission, or experience. The test begins now. 222, this is the emotional choice point where you have to tell the universe what you truly desire. 333, this indicates a new opportunity. 444, this is your turn or your chance to walk through the door. Act now or lose the opportunity. 555, you are in sync with the universe and you need to trust in what you are communicating. Okay. 666, this is the second opportunity if you didn't take advantage when you saw the 333. Which, if you like saw the opportunity but didn't go, and you didn't do the thing that you kind of wanted to do, you just got nervous and you just didn't do it. You talked yourself out of it. If you see a 666, it's not some demonic sign. It means second opportunity. You didn't do it last time. Do it this time. 777. This is one of those. This is rest, receive, and reflect. This is jackpot. You can now rest. You're about to receive something. You don't have to struggle. 888. This is the strength of the universe with you to help you complete the mission. And then 999, the mission's completed. So when you see any 999s, you've finished some task. If you do see a 000, this is like a rest in the quiet bosom of God for a bit. It's like you can rest. God's got you. If you see 1111, this one's usually a wink from the higher self, and it may refer to the struggle to help the planet awaken. We know that 1111, the day 1111, was the end of World War I at the time 1111. So it could be the end of war that we've all incarnated for, this peace that we're all trying to help the Earth get to. So that's all I really want to say for today. Om Shanti Om Namaste. Om Mane Padme Om. Om Mane Padme Om. Om Mane Padme Om. Om Mane Padme